In today's video, I'll show you the Ebony RW45 folding view camera. First, I'll tell you why I got it and why you might want a similar camera, and then I'll show you how everything sounds and feels. I'll show you all the knobs, all the movements. I'll show you the lens too, and of course the back and everything. I might even show you some photo books in the beginning. So I got this camera because you know how in last week's video on the Linhof Cardan, I said how monorail cameras that were heavy were fine for everything that doesn't involve a lot of walking. Yeah, so I got a folding camera because there were things that I wanted to do that did involve a lot of walking. Being able to take a different approach, use a different process to take photos, that was important after I tried to use a monorail camera for general photography. You can still take photos of the same genres like landscape, urban landscape, portraits, and still lifes and everything, but the process is going to be different. I don't want to draw a sharp distinction between process-driven and concept-driven photography, but there's a slight shift in emphasis between how you go about using a monorail camera versus a field camera. So I got this one in particular because I didn't need a whole lot of extension like I had in the monorail. So I just got a double extension camera, and I knew that I wouldn't be using very long or very short lenses for the kind of photos I wanted to take. So I just got this basic double extension camera. And I got the Ebony in particular just because it was really well made, and I found a great deal on large format photography forum that I couldn't pass up. So that's why I ended up with this particular one. But there are lots of other 4x5 folding cameras out there that are, pretty similar. The movements might be a little bit different here and there, and they might weigh different amounts, but they're pretty similar, and you'll be able to do the same kinds of stuff with all of them, basically. As far as the inspiration that was going on for wanting to get a field camera, that goes to books like this one by Stephen Shore, Uncommon Places, and also American Prospects by Joel Sternfeld, and these small books by Joel Meyerowitz, St. Louis and the Arch, and Cape Light, and of course a more recent classic, Sleeping by the Mississippi by Alex Soth. So in these books, I think walking around was a pretty important part of the process for them, even though they probably did have some setup shots where they made appointments in advance and scouted locations or things like that. But for a lot of these things, let's say this shot, this urban landscape shot, you get the sense that he's definitely going out for a walk and just taking photos of what he sees and people he meets. Maybe he just met them on the sidewalk while he was going around town. And there's something about like being in the right place at the right time. So being able to walk around with a camera it's important for certain styles. Like, you know, the lighting in this photo, probably not something you'd really notice if you were just wandering, if you were scouting places out in advance. I don't know. So there's a spontaneous quality to being able to walk around with a camera and just take photos of what you find out there. So anyway, so that's the main reason why you would want a field camera, to have the ability to discover things and take a photo of something on the spot. As far as the feel of the camera, Ebeneeze are one of the most well-regarded brands. This is like a pretty sturdy camera, and all the knobs are nice to use. So like here on the focusing knobs, these are nice and big, so it's easy to use even if you have gloves on. And the front one will rack it out that much, and it stops when you get to the end so it doesn't fall off. And at full extension, when you lock it up and everything, it's a pretty sturdy camera. So if you like pull back on the standards and rock it around and all that sort of thing, it's a pretty sturdy camera. It doesn't flex hardly at all. Whoops, it's not on the tripod head, but it doesn't flex very much and returns to the same position as you set it. So when you bring it back, when you get to this point is when it transitions over to the rear focusing, and then you can bring it in real close if you have a wide angle. It also has a bellows, a bag bellows type section in the front when we have short lenses. So overall, these knobs are pretty smooth and on the firm side, so it's not loose or anything, and they feel good. And let's see, I'll show you all the movements now. Oh wait, before I go on to the movements, a lot of the newer cameras are based on the Philips Compact 2. They have a round knob on the back to do rear focusing on the front standard. That's like a really good feature to have when you have a big 8x10 camera or even larger, because when you're behind the ground glass, it's kind of hard to reach that far forward to focus on an 8x10 or something like that. But on a little 4x5 camera, focusing knobs on the side, those are fine. It's not hard to reach. So let's see the movements. Here, these two knobs on the inside, these are for the fall and rise. And then there's a red dot here and a little dot there to line up for the 0 point. And then the outer knobs, this is for the swing. So you get that much swing forward and that much swing back. Oh, tilt. axis tilt. Okay. And you also have base tilt with these knobs. There's a little detent in here. You might be able to see the little semicircle, but there's a little detent there for locking it into the upright position. So you can go, you can do the base tilts that much. Let's see. And then for the swing, you have a locking lever here. You have a little ball bearing detent there. This is a firm switch lock. So there you have the swing. This is like metal on metal contact, so it's probably best to keep this really clean and not have any sand in there, or else you'll scratch it all up, I guess. On the back, you have base tilts as well. Loosen those up, and then there's a little cutout detent there to get to the 0 position, and then you can go back that much too. So click. You press on the struts this way to click it. Yeah. So you also have axis tilts on the back, and you have a ball bearing somewhere in here to get to the 0 position. And lastly, you have swings down here on the bottom. It's a little bit hard to get to if you have gloves, and tightening it up is a little bit harder than other things, but it's okay. Not a huge amount of swing, but it's fine. Let's see. So there's no 0 mark or anything. You just have to line it up, I feel. So, okay. So, next, the back of the camera. This is basically the same as the Linhof Cardan, except you have these latches that slide out to the side to rotate the back. And then there are these little catches here on the bottom for putting it back on. And so that's how you switch the format, the orientation. We're gonna line this up right. Yeah, okay. So let's see. If you have to take off the ground glass, it's the same thing. You push down on these buttons and then slide it like that. And if you want to put in a roll film holder, you press down on these sliders. Basic, all the same. Let's see. And then to put this in, there's like this little hook here that goes into that little metal rod. So you gotta line it up, push, and then slide, and then click it into place. As for the lens, it's really easy. You just have this, and then slide it out like that. And let's see. So that's basically it for the camera. I'll show you how to fold it up, I guess. Anyway, so take the lens off again. Should have remembered that. So take off the lens, and then you'll unloosen the rise and fall, and then get it all the way up, and then you can unlock these and then fold it down like that. When it's down here, you sort of don't want the front standard to scratch against the bottom of the standard, so just sort of lift this up a little bit like that, and like that, I think, and then like there, and then when this folds down, this won't scratch against it. So let's see, do the back, and then goes like that, and then you have a little latch here, and on the sides you can tighten that up if you want, so it's like, it's kind of optional. So that's it for the Ebony RW45. I think like basic takeaway after collecting all these different kinds of cameras is that tools actually do matter. If someone says the camera doesn't matter, it's the photographer, I get what they're saying about how your ideas matter a lot, but when someone says something like you should not care about something else, it just makes me wonder what they don't want me to think about. So it's like it's a very eye-rolling thing to say. So basic things like the size and weight of a camera, that matters. The price of a camera, that matters a lot. So it's just, to me, it's completely obvious that cameras, they matter. The tools that you use, that you can get, that you use to do something, that matters a lot. So it's the means of production, as I say all the time. So that's pretty much it for all the modern cameras in my collection. And next week I'll start showing you the few antique cameras that I have. And then after that, that'll be it for all the camera videos. And I'll start doing other stuff, I guess. So, as usual, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a nice week.